Kunja Bihare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Gopi Jana Ballava Giribaradhare Gopi Jana Ballava Giribaradhare Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachare Yamunatira Vanachare Jaradha Madhava Kunja Bihare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Gopi Jana Ballava Giribaradhare Gopi Jana Ballava Giribaradhare Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachare Yamunatira Vanachare Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Jai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Vishnavad, Paramahangs, Pariphragicharya, Status System, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki, ISKCON's founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki, Shri Shri Nitai Gaura Chandra Ki, Sankirtan Yagya Ki, Go Premanande. All glories to the Sama devotees. All glories to the Sama devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 24, The Philosophy of Sankhya, verse 16 and verse 17.
Šiandien skaitome Šrimad Bhagavatam 11 giesmės, 24 skyrių, kuris yra Sankhijos filosofija, ir šiandien yra 16-17 tekstai.
Right, so I take it I should just read the Sanskrit. It looks like it. Yeah, I'll just read the Sanskrit of 16, first of all. Anur Brihat Krishastulo Yo Bhava Prasidyati Sarvopyubhaya Samyukta Prakritya Purushena Cha. Translation: whatever features visibly exist within this world, small or great, thin or stout, certainly contain both the material nature and its enjoyer, the spirit soul.
Vertimas. Visos iki vienos regimos šio pasaulio formos, mažos ir didelės, plonos ir stambios, sudarytos iš dviejų pradų – materialios substancijos ir jie savo malonumai besinaudojančios nematerialios sielos.
Verse 17. Yastu yasyadir antascha savai madhyam chatasya san vikaro vyavaharato yata taijasa partiva. Gold and earth are originally existing as ingredients. From gold, one may fashion golden ornaments, such as bracelets and earrings, and from earth, one may fashion clay pots and saucers. The original ingredients, gold and earth, exist before the products made from them, and when the products are eventually destroyed, the original ingredients, gold and earth, will remain. Thus, since the ingredients are present in the beginning and at the end, they must also be present in the middle phase, taking the form of a particular product to which we assign for convenience a particular name, such as bracelet, earring, pot, or saucer. We can therefore understand that since the ingredient cause exists before the creation of a product and after the product's destruction, the same ingredient cause must be present during the manifest phase, supporting the product as the basis of its reality.
Teksto vertimas. Ir auksas, iš kurio gaminami papuošalai, apyrankės ar auskarai. Ir molis, iš kurio žiedžiami puodai ir lėkštės, tai yra medžiaga. Kaip pirminė medžiaga, auksas ir molis egzistuoja iki atsirandant gaminiams iš jų ir išlieka tiems gaminiams sudulus. Kadangi toji medžiaga egzistuoja pirm ir po daiktų, ji neabejotinai egzistuoja ir tarpinėje stadijoje, daikto pavidalo, kuriam patogumo dėlei mes suteikiame apyrankės, auskaro, puodynės ar lėkštės pavadinimą. Jei medžiaginė priežastis egzistuoja iki daikto atsiradimo ir po jo išnykimo, tai ji turi egzistuoti ir suteikusi daiktui pavidalą, kaip pagrindas, į kurį remiasi minėtojo produkto realumas.
Okay. Purport by BBT commentators. So the Lord here explains that the original cause is certainly present in its effect, citing the example of gold and clay functioning as the causal ingredients of many different products in which gold and clay continue to be present. For our convenience, we assign different names to temporary products, although their essential nature continues to be that of the ingredient and not of the temporary product.
BPT komentuotojų komentaras. Viešpačias sako, kad pirminė priežastis neišvengiamai slypi savo padalinyje. Jis pateikia pavyzdį kaip auksą ir molį, kaip priežastinės medžiaginės daugelio dirbinių, kuriuose jie ir toliau glūdi dalis. Patogumo dėlei mes priskiriame įvairius pavadinimus laikiniems dirbiniams, bet iš esmės jie lieka ta medžiaga, iš kurios yra laikinai sudaryti.
Yes, tu yasyadya antas cha savai manjam chatasya san vikaro vyavahararto yata tejasa partiva Shri Nitai Gora Chandra Ki Jai. And let me read the verse again. Gold and earth are originally existing as ingredients. From gold, one may fashion golden ornaments such as bracelets and earrings, and from earth, one may fashion clay pots and saucers. The original ingredients, gold and earth, exist before the products made from them. And when the products are eventually destroyed, the original ingredients, gold and earth, will remain. Thus, since the ingredients are present in the beginning and at the end, they must also be present in the middle phase, taking the form of a particular product to which we assign for convenience a particular name, such as bracelet, earring, pot, or saucer. We can therefore understand that since the ingredient cause exists before the creation of a product and after the product's destruction, the same ingredient cause must be present during the manifest phase, supporting the product as the basis of its reality.
Dar kartą tekstas. Ir aukso, iš kurio gaminami papuošalai, apyrankės ar auskarai. Ir auksas ir molis, iš kurio žiedžiami puodai ar lėkštės, tai yra medžiaga. Kaip pirminė medžiaga, auksas ir molis egzistuoja iki atsirandant gaminiams iš jų ir išlieka tiems gaminiams sudulus. Kadangi toji medžiaga egzistuoja pirm ir po daiktų, ji neabejotinai egzistuoja ir tarpinėje stadijoje, daikto pavidalu, kuriam patogumo dėlei mes suteikiame apyrankės, auskaro, puodynės ar lėkštės pavadinimą. Jei medžiaginė priežastis egzistuoja iki daikto atsiradimo ir po jo išnykimo, tai ji turi egzistuoti ir suteikusi daiktui pavidalą, kaip pagrindas, į kurį remiasi minėtojo produkto realumas.
Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastutyade Shatarne Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivrenda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchkalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha, Paditanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Well, so this is Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna is speaking. And of course it's the 11th canto Srimad Bhagavatam where he's instructing Uddhava. And therefore it's known as the Uddhava Gita. And it takes up the great majority of the whole 11th canto. Yeah, 11th canto concludes in Lord Krishna leaving this world. Pretty dramatic subject. But anyway, the 11th canto, at least the Uddhava Gita, where Krishna's addressing Uddhava, it is it's an extension, you could say extension, of the Bhagavad Gita. Extension, something like that. This is specifically how it's referred to by our acharyas. That in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna introduced the subjects, or he actually introduced a number of subjects. Particularly, of course, that we should surrender to him and become his devotees. But that is sort of introductory in a sense, at least. But then he wanted to expand it, develop it further, and this he did with Uddhava. Yes, and so he expands the whole picture of, first of all, the idea of surrender, what makes up surrender to him. Then discussing, you could say, different levels of surrender, or rather, just different levels of devotees. Those of you who have read the 11th canto, you would have seen that.
Ir kurie jau skaitėt 11 giesmę, turbūt tai prisimenat.
Specific reference to Kanishta Adhikaris, Madhyam Adhikaris, and Uttama Adhikaris.
Ir taip pat aptarė ant visus lygius vakto, Kaništą, Madhyamą ir Uttamą Adhikaris.
And really going into some depth in explaining the characteristics and how to, in other words, how to recognize those different levels of devotees.
Jis kalba apie tokių bhaktų savybės ir padeda suprasti, kaip atpažinti tų lygių bhaktus.
And of course that includes also being able to recognize your own level.
Ir tai eina taip pat, kad mes sugebam tada jau suprasti savo lygį.
As we say sometimes, if you want to know what level you're on in Krishna consciousness,
Sakoma, kad jeigu nori sužinot, koks tavo lygmuo Krišnos sąmonės kelyje,
generally it is not a good idea to ask yourself.
Paprastai nėra geriausias sprendimas paklausti paties savęs.
We are prone to be very charitable towards ourselves.
Mes savo labai maloningi.
Our shortcomings are not, we don't take to be that bad. They're just, minor problems.
Savo trūkumus mes žiūrim taip atlaidžiai. Čia nėra tokia labai svarbi problema.
And our good qualities, oh yes, they're very good.
O štai geras savybės, tai jau čia kažkas tokio.
Yes, they say, I think I mentioned it on the festival. Anyway, they say that we judge ourselves according to our intentions, but we judge others according to their actions.
Ir taip sakoma, gal tai paminėjo ir festivalį, kad mes sprendžiame apie save pagal savo ketinimus, o apie kitus sprendžiame pagal jų veiksmus.
If you think about it, you'll see there's a lot of truth in it.
Ir jeigu pagalvosim apie tai, suprasim, kad labai daug yra tiesos tokiam pasakymui.
Anyway, the thing is that the Uddhava Gita is really taking the message of Bhagavad Gita and just developing it further.
Ir taip galim pasakyti, kad Uddhava Gita tai perima tas idėjas pagrindinės iš Bhagavad Gitos ir jas labiau dar išplėtoja.
And, for example, doing devotional service in different ways.
Pavyzdžiui, tarnystė, įvairūs jos būdai.
Then in Uddhava Gita, it's really expanded in detail.
Ir Uddhava Gitoj tai prašyta labai plačiai ir detaliai.
Particularly things like deity worship.
Ypač dievybių garbinimas.
Yeah, so they're all expanded upon in considerable detail.
Ir ten tikrai daug tokių visokių, taip smulkiai prašytas.
And similarly, the subject of, you could just say the subject of Sankhya.
Ir taip pat Sankhijos tema.
Sankhya literally means to analyze.
Sankhya, pažodžiu, tai reiškia analizuoti.
Yeah, to analyze and sort of break subjects down to their different parts.
Ir bet kokią tai kažkokią temą išnagrinėti ir pateikti kaip jos dalis.
Yes, like for example, Krishna's relationship with the material world.
Pavyzdžiui, Krišnos santykis su materialiu pasauliu.
In Bhagavad Gita particularly, Krishna addresses this in chapter 9, verses 4 and 5.
Ir Bhagavad Gita apie tai kalbama 9 skyriui, 4-5 posmuose.
Yeah, there Krishna, just in essence explains how he's sustaining, supporting everything.
Ir ten Krišna taip iš esmės tiesiog pasako, kad jis viską palaiko.
But at the same time, he's independent.
Bet tuo pat metu jis yra nepriklausomas.
And he's not exactly involved in the whole process.
Ir tai, kitaip sakant, jis nėra taip tiesiogiai įsitraukęs į visą procesą.
I mean, yeah, he is certainly not entangled
Ir tikrai nėra įklimpęs į
in the processes of material nature.
tuos visus materialios gamtos procesus.
So in Srimad Bhagavatam in general, these subjects are expanded upon.
Ir visame Srimad Bhagavatam šitos temos yra plėtojamos.
And, particularly in the third canto,
Ypač trečioje giesmėje.
there's the instructions of Lord Kapila.
Ten yra viešpaties Kapilo Dievas pamokymai.
That's all to do with Sankhya.
Ir visi jie yra susijęs su Sankhya.
And it's such an amazing description.
Ir toks nuostabus aprašymas.
And you see that as Lord Kapila explains Sankhya, or analyzing the material world,
Ir matom, kad kai viešpats Kapilo Dievą analizuoja materialų pasaulį ir pateikia tas Sankhijos.
then he brings all this information out so much in the context of devotional service.
Ir pateikia tą informaciją atsidavimo tarnybos kontekste.
And it can be quite easy to sort of forget that this is a description of Sankhya, but to think this is just description of devotional service.
Ir labai nesunku pamiršti, kad čia yra Sankhijos visa šita filosofija. Atrodo tiesiog kalbama apie atsidavimo tarnystę.
So anyway, here in this 11th canto, all these things are really summarized, elaborated upon and summarized in Uddhava Gita.
Ir 11 giesmė Uddhava Gitoje visos šitos temos yra smulkiai išnagrinėtos ir apibendrintos.
And the question has been raised, at which this verse, particularly 17, is answering.
Ir čia ypatingai šitam 17 posme yra atsakoma į klausimą.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of an unusual question, but this is the answer to it.
Kažkoks toks neįprastas klausimas, bet čia yra atsakymas.
That if you take a certain item which can be an ingredient,
Jeigu paimi kažkokį tai dalyką, kuris tuo pačiu yra sudedamoji dalis,
here he mentions gold and earth.
pavyzdžiui, jis čia mini auksą ir molį.
So the question is that if you take some gold and make it into, for argument's sake, a ring,
Tai pavyzdžiui, jeigu jūs paimat auksą ir pasigaminat, sakykime, žiedą.
I remember many years ago, 40 years ago, or 30, 40, I was in Vrindavan.
Atsimenu, kad gal prieš 30 ar 40 metų buvau Vrindavane
Somehow I got an inspiration
ir man kilo toks įkvėpimas
to get one of these, little covertures, they call them, that you hang by your neck, and inside you put some sort of sacred something.
Kilo tokia idėja, žodžiu, įsigyti tokią kavačią, kurią galima pasigabinti ant kaklo ir ten viduje kažkokiu tai labai šventų dalykų laikyti.
And then you put it on a chain or some sort of something to suspend it from.
Ir pasigabinti tą kavačią ant kažkas kaip grandinėlės.
So I did that.
Ir aš tai padariau.
I got this little thing made of solid gold.
Ir gavau tokią mažą kavačią iš gryno aukso.
22 carat, I think it's almost pure gold.
22 karatai, beveik grynas auksas.
And I just put some Vrindavan dust inside
Ir ten truputį įdėjau tiesiog Vrindavano dulkių.
and sealed it.
Ir taip gerai uždariau.
brought it back to wherever I was living, I think in England.
Ir parsivežiau ją, kur ten gyvenau, atrodo, Anglijoje.
Got a 9-carat gold chain
Nusipirkau tokią, 9 karatų auksinę grandinėlę.
and put it on.
Ir prikabinau tą galą.
Very well. I thought, this is nice.
Puiku.
But then my sannyas guru noticed it
Ir po to taip pastebėjo mano sanyasos guru.
and said, for sannyasis, it's not good to wear such sort of decorative things.
Ir jis pasakė, sanyasiam, anaiptol nėra čia labai palanku nešioti tokias puošmenas.
So I gave it away to somebody.
Kažkam atidaviau.
And therefore, I don't keep rings or,
Nenešiau žiedų jokių.
and I'm definitely not an earring person. Anyway. So the question that this explanation responds to
Ir tas klausimas, į kurį čia atsakoma dabar.
is that, for the example of gold, you've got some gold and you make, let us just say, a ring.
Ir, sakykime, paima auksą ir pasigamina žiedą.
Now, is the ring, can you still identify the ring as gold, or should you just forget that and just say it's simply a ring?
Ir ar galima tiesiog pamiršti, kad čia yra auksas ir galvoti, kad čia yra žiedas, ar vis dėlto laikyti tai auksu?
That's exactly the question.
Toks buvo klausimas.
Because the answer is, we can therefore understand that since the ingredient cause exists before the creation of the product and after the product's destruction, the same ingredient cause must be present during the manifest phase, when, in this case, say, when it's a ring.
Jei medžiaginė priežastis egzistuoja iki daikto atsiradimo ir po jo išnykimo, tai ji turi egzistuoti ir suteikusi daiktui pavidalą. Čia tas daiktas kaip žiedas šiuo atveju.
That's the point that's being raised.
Ir čia tai buvo pabrėžta.
Does the ingredient, by being transformed into some particular item, does the ingredient, what's the effect on the ingredient?
Nes jeigu yra kažkokia tai medžiaga ir iš jos mes kažką pagaminam, tai ar tai medžiagai kažkas nutinka, ar jinai pasikeičia?
I mean, is it still present?
Ar ji vis dar egzistuoja?
That's the point being addressed here.
Čia apie tai ir kalbame.
Anyway, I mean, it's pretty obvious, really, that it is there.
Ir gana aišku, akivaizdu, kad jinai vis dar egzistuoja.
Yeah. Of course, in this type of case, where you've got one ingredient, which is then transformed into one item,
Aišku, tuo atveju, kai yra viena medžiaga ir iš jos pagaminamas vienas kažkoks daiktas.
so the ingredient was existing, got transformed into the item. After a while, the item is destroyed, and then what's left is the ingredient.
Tai buvo kažkokia medžiaga, iš jos kažkoks daiktas pagamintas ir po to, kai tas daiktas suiro, kaip sakyti, visiems liko ta medžiaga.
Like, I assume some of you ladies have rings. No rings. Austere. Oh, you've got. Is it gold? Huh? Looks like gold.
It's a secret.
Oh, it's a secret. Okay. But anyway, just, the thing is that when it's straightforward like that, you have gold, you make a ring, and it's just a gold ring, and there may be nothing else mixed in with it.
Tai jeigu, pavyzdžiui, toks labai paprastas atvejis, buvo auksas, dabar padarytas žiedas Ir ten realiai tik tai auksas, nieko neprimaišyta.
Then after a while, maybe you sell the ring.
Po kurio laiko jūs parduosit tą žiedą.
Or you pawn the ring. You understand pawn? Anyway, you sell the ring to someone who will then melt it down.
Gal jūs parduosite kažkam, kas paskui išlydys tą auksą vėl.
Then what you're left with is the original gold.
Ir kas po to visko liks, tai vėl tas pirminis auksas.
Because it depends, original pure gold's 24 karat.
Čia priklauso nuo situacijos. Tas pirminis grynas auksas yra 24 karatai.
And then you can't use it.
Ir negalite jo
I mean, you
naudoti.
can't make rings or, decorative things.
Ir jau tada iš tokio gryno aukso neišeina padaryti visų papuošalų.
Because it's too soft
Nes jis per minkštas.
and it'll break. And
Ir labai greit gali
It's a problem.
sulūžti.
yeah. But what about devotees consider this?
Bet kaip, jeigu pagalvokit apie tai,
When you make a sabji,
pavyzdžiui, padarot saldžią,
yeah, you got
ten
potatoes,
ir bulvės,
you got cauliflower, you
kalafijorai,
got some peas,
žirneliai
and then you got some ghee,
ir jį ten įdeda.
preferably ghee,
Geriau būtų jį.
preferably not oil. But
Kažkoks,
anyway, let's say you've got some ghee,
sakykim,
and then you've got some green chili,
ten žalią čili įdeda.
nice sweet green chili, and then you've got some cumin,
Kmyno,
you've got some coriander,
kalendras
and you've got some turmeric,
ir atsiberžalės.
and then you've got some, some salt,
Druskos taip pat,
and then you've got some water,
vandens dar,
or maybe you've got some cream,
o gal
or smetana.
smetanas, kažkaip grietinės.
And so you got all these items, and then you make the sabji.
Ir jūs turit visus tos sudedamąsias dalis ir padarot saldžią.
How are you going to unmake the sabji?
Ir kaip atgal nesugrąžinsiu,
Extract the salt from it somehow,
kaip ten druską iš ten.
etc., etc. Particularly, if you make a soup
Ir dar jeigu darot sriubą,
and you boil it till it's just, everything's totally merged.
ir jeigu ten taip verda tol, kol viskas ten į vienalytę masę pavirsta.
Anyway, that's a different question.
Čia jau kitas klausimas.
Then what you can do.
Tai ką gali padaryti?
Oh, yes. You can make a video of making the sabji.
Gali padaryti video, kaip gaminate saldžią.
And at the end, you've got your, or maybe soup if you make soup.
Arba sriubą, jeigu, pavyzdžiui, verda sriubą.
And then at the end, you just play it backwards.
Ir paskui, po to jūs prasukate filmą atgaline tvarka.
Then you've got all the ingredients
Ir
again.
tada grįžtat vėl ir pamatot visus ingredientus.
But anyway, the point here is that, of course, ingredients may be merged. I mean, a combination of ingredients may be merged.
Gali visos tos sudedamosios dalis, kaip sakyt, susijungtis.
But still, if you're somehow able to undo the process at the end, you will be left basically with a sort of an ingredient phase.
Bet jeigu, žodžiu, sugebėsit šiaip ar taip kažkaip galės tą procesą pasukti atgal, tai galų gale baigsis prie tos sudedamųjų dalių fazės.
Anyway, the question seems to have been, when some ingredient is transformed into a product, then what happened to the ingredient, is it lost?
Ir klausimas toks, ar yra tiesa, kad jeigu mes iš medžiagos kažką pagaminam, ar ta medžiaga išnyksta?
Here, gold and earth are given as examples.
Čia kaip pavyzdžiai duoti auksas ir molis.
What about our bodies?
O kaip su mūsų kūnais?
If our bodies just left at the time of death, just left, and nothing's done to them.
Jeigu, pavyzdžiui, mes numirštam ir tie mūsų kūnai tiesiog taip paliekami, nieko su jais nedaroma.
Then eventually they will return back to the stages of being earth, water, fire, air, and ether.
Tai iš esmės jie galų gale sugrįš į tuos pirminius pradus - žemė, vanduo, ugnis, oras.
So it's amazing, the complexity, the subtleties of how the creation is sort of fashioned from the ingredients.
Ir čia viskas taip subtiliai paaiškinama, kaip iš tikrųjų viskas šioje kūrinyje yra sudaryta iš tų pradų.
And finally, in the ultimate end, when the creation is completely wound up,
Ir galų gale, kai visa ta kūrinyje, kaip sakyt,
the final devastation,
kai vyksta tas sunaikinimas ir ta kūrinyje baigėsi.
Then actually everything will be broken down to the, precisely the ingredient stage.
Ir viskas vėl sugrąžinama tiksliai į tą pradmenų būvį.
So your nice gold ring, which is actually, if say it's 18 karat, it's a better quality one. It's gold and, actually I'm not even sure, but gold and something which is there to strengthen it, maybe some steel or something like that.
Na tai vėl, paimkim žiedą ir jeigu geras žiedas, sakykim, tai bent jau 18 karatų, tai reiškia, jame yra auksas ir dar kažkas, kas jį sustiprintų, tai galbūt plienas ar dar kažkas.
At the final stage of the dissolution of the universe, your ring, the gold and the, shall we say, steel, are actually going to be separated from each other.
Ir kai visą tą bus sunaikinta, tai tada tas žiedas vėl bus atsiskirs tas auksas nuo plieno.
I don't know when you get these people, they buy jewelry and they melt it down and then sell the gold again.
Nes yra, pavyzdžiui, tokie žmonės, kurie superka visokius papuošalus, auksinius ir kitokius, jie išlydo tą auksą ir pardavinėja tos lydinius.
I don't know if they have the technology to extract, to separate out the gold from whatever was mixed with it to make it harder.
Nežinau, ar jie turi tokią technologiją, kaip atskirti auksą nuo tų, kas įmaišyta į tą auksą, kad jį sutvirtintų.
So anyway, this material world is going on like that.
Taigi šitas materialus pasaulis būtent taip ir egzistuoja.
Our bodies are earth, water, fire, air, and ether.
Mūsų kūnai sudaryti iš žemės, vandens, ugnies, oro ir eterio.
When I was at school, we were told our bodies are, I forget exactly, but something like 70% water.
Kai buvo mokykloje, tai kiek, jeigu teisingai prisimenu, buvo sakoma, kad mūsų kūnas sudarytas maždaug iš 70% vandens.
Same in Lithuania?
Yes, but for adult, 70% water of the body of the adult, but 90% of the newborn.
Wow.
And 50% of the water in the geriatric person.
Oh, really?
Really.
Like me. Yeah.
Ten sakoma, papildymas buvo, kad mokslininkų duomenimis yra vidutinio amžiaus žmogaus kūnas 70% vandens, naujagimio yra 90% ir jau susenusio kūno yra 50%.
Geriatrics, what was the percent?
50.
50. I'm going to remember that. It's something to bring up in class. The devotees will think, oh, that's interesting. But thank you. That's good. No, I thought maybe in Lithuania maybe things are thicker, more solid.
Lietuvoje kietesni visi.
No, just joking. But still, I mean, it's very interesting. Where's the water?
Labai įdomu, o tai kur tas vanduo?
You're not geriatric yet.
Dar nesame geriausi.
You're working on becoming. So, but still, it's probably, I don't know, 60%. Your body's, according to Madaji, what would you say? 60% in this case? All right. But whatever it is, but where is it?
Tai kad ir kiek būtų tų procentų, tai kur tas vanduo, nesimato.
It's the same water,
Tas pats vanduo, kurį geriau.
but it's mixed.
Bet jisai susimaišė.
It's mixed like blood is essentially water.
Pavyzdžiui, kraujas, tai iš esmės yra vanduo.
Shri Shri Nitai Gora Chandra Ki Jai. Blood is essentially water,
Kraujas iš esmės yra vanduo.
but it's mixed with some earth,
Bet susimaišė su žemės pramonė.
like some part of earth,
Kažkokia tai dalimi žemė.
the red part, you know,
Kažkokia raudona.
and mucus,
Ir gleivės.
like when we cough, that sort of. It's essentially, well, it's water and earth.
Ir gleivės, pavyzdžiui, dėl ko kosėjam, tai irgi iš esmės yra vandens ir žemės mišinys.
And Krishna has put all these things together in these ways and put a spirit soul inside.
Ir Krišna kažkokiais tai būdais jos visus sumaišė tos pradas ir ten dar pridėjo sielą.
And now it's all animated and conscious.
Ir viskas tada atrodo kaip atgyja ir turi sąmonę.
It's so amazing, the expertise of Krishna.
Toks nuostabus Krišnos meistriškumas.
You know, you have someone like Michelangelo or Rodin. They made, among other things, they made statues.
Kaip žinom, kaip Rodenas, Mikelandželas, tokie žymus skulptoriai, jie padarė nuostabias skulptūras.
And they're so expertly done.
Ir jos taip padarytos, taip meistriškai.
Or even like the deity of Srila Prabhupada.
Pavyzdžiui, taip pat Šilas Prabhupados mūrtė.
That was made by, what's his name? Anyway, a devotee in America.
Ją pagamino vienas baktas iš Amerikos.
And I've twice had experience, not here, but in South Africa, twice I've had experience that geriatrics like me, you know, elderly people whose sight is not good and, you know, all these functions are somewhat deteriorated. They've started speaking to Prabhupada.
Ir aš, žodžiu, turėjau tokią patirtį, ne čia Kaune, bet Pietų Afrikos Respublikoje, kad ten, žodžiu, tos smurtės taip nuostabiai padarytos, kad ateina geriatriški žmonės, tokie senukai, žodžiu, kurių ten jūsės jau netokios aštrios ir jie pradeda kalbėti su tą murtą, galvoja, kad čia žmonės.
Yeah, Prabhupada in the temple room. And one of them came up to me, I happened to be there, and complained.
Ir vienas iš jų paskui pas mane atėjo ir pasiskundė.
Why will Swami not speak to me? I asked him a question.
Kodėl tas Svamis su nieko man neatsakė, aš jau uždaviau klausimą.
Really? Sensory functions, you know, as you get old. Well, you know, I used to never wear glasses.
Ir nenešioja akinių, tai paskui galėjau, žodžiu, padaryti tokią klaidą.
Yeah, so, but Krishna's so expert that he's made these things, these bodies, plus they're alive.
Bet Krišna toks meistras, kad jis sukūrė šitos kūnus ir dar prie viso to jie yra gyvi.
Michelangelo, Rodin, these sculptors, they can make them, they may look exactly like you, but they can't make it so it's alive.
Ir Mikelandželas, Rodinas, jie sugeba tas skulptūras padaryti taip, kad jos atrodo, kaip tikriausias žmogus, bet negali padaryti jiems įkvėpti gyvybės.
So, Lord Krishna, says to Lord Brahma in the second canto.
Antroji giesmė viešpats Krišna sako viešpačiui Brahmai.
Pratyartam yat pratyeta na pratyeta chatmani tadvidyad atmano mayam yatabaso yata tama. O Brahma, whatever appears.
Sako Brahma, visa, kas apsireiškia, kas.
I was going to say, whatever appears to be of any value.
Viskas, kas atrodo, kad turi kažkokią vertę.
If it is without relation to me,
jeigu jis neturi ryšio su manimi,
has no reality,
ir nėra realus,
know it as my illusory energy.
žinau, kad tai yra mano iliuzinė energija.
That reflection which appears to be in darkness.
Toks atspindys, kuris atrodo, kad yra tamsoje.
So, yeah, I mean, ultimately this is in regards to ingredients and products and, you know, that sort of thing. This is the ultimate point.
Ir galutinė išvada yra tokia, kai kalbant apie visus šitos medžiagas, apie tai, kas iš jų pagaminta.
That whatever appears to have any real substance within this world,
viskas, kas šitam pasauliui atrodo, kad yra svarbu, vertinga.
If it's without relation to Krishna, it has no reality.
Jeigu tai nesusieta su Krišna, tai yra iš tikrųjų nerealu.
It's just a display of the illusory energy,
Čia tiesiog yra iliuzinės energijos apraiška,
which is a reflection of a reality, but the reflection appears to be the reality.
Ir šita iliuzinė energija tai yra realybės atspindys, bet jinai atrodo, kad yra pati realybė.
Yeah, and the example is that if you have a room, which is, if you've got a big building, and right inside, in the middle, there's a little room which normally, because it's right in the middle, it'll be dark.
Ir sakykime, mes turim didelį tokį namą ir jo ten kažkur tai vidury yra kambariukas, tai greičiausiai bus tamsus.
But if you, like with mirrors, if you reflect the sunlight into that otherwise dark room, then people may think, oh, this room, the room itself has light.
Ir jeigu mes su veidrodžiais, pasinaudotume veidrodžiais ir atspindžiais, visos atspindžiais nukreipsim tą šviesą į kambarį, tai žmonės gali pažiūrėti kambarį ir galvot, jisai yra šviesus kambarys.
It has its own light.
Tarsi jisai pats švyti jame šviesa.
But the Lord says that if it's without relation to me, without relation to the source, it has no reality.
Bet viešpats sako, kad jeigu tai nėra ryšio su šaltiniu šviesos tiesiog, tai jisai nerealu tai.
Like that light which is reflected into the dark room, it's not like an attribute of the room.
Ir jeigu ta šviesa patenka kaip atspindys, tai nėra kambario savybė.
You have to go back to what it's reflected from.
Reikia grįžti prie to šviesos šaltinio, iš kur tie atspindžiai atsiranda.
Otherwise, it's just a display of illusory energy.
Kitu atveju tai tiesiog yra iliuzinės energijos apraiška.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I mean, not an easy subject.
Ne pati lengviausia tema.
Any comments, questions?
Yra komentarai ir klausimai.
Yes, sir. Microphonos.
Thank you for the very nice lecture. My question would be about the topic you talked about just now, about how you can't have anything real if it's not connected to Krishna. So can we have a real relationship with substance with other jivas while in this world? while being embodied, can we have soulful connections?
Okay.
Ar vis dar būdami šiame pasaulyje galime turėti tikrus sielos pagrindų santykius su kitom sielom būnant šiam pasaulyje?
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. You know, the thing is this, that, I mean, it's obvious that we can have some sort of relationship
Akivaizdu, kad kažkokius tai santykius mes galim turėti.
because it's going on in life. I mean, there's millions and millions and many millions of some types of relationship.
Ir įvairiausių tipų yra šitų santykių, milijonai tipų.
But because, well, when we talk about non-devotees,
Bet jeigu mes kalbam apie tuos, kurie nėra bhaktai,
because Krishna is not, you know, like playing a part in their conscious interactions, their actual relationship,
nes jų santykiuose Krišna jokio vaidmens tarsi jie nesuteikiama jam.
then the relationship is, you could use the term illusory,
Tai galima pasakyti, tokį žodį panaudoti, kad tai yra iliuzinė santykiai.
which doesn't mean that it's just not there,
Bet tai nereiškia, kad tai yra tiesiog tai, kas neegzistuoja.
but it means that it's not what it seems to be.
Bet tai reiškia, kad tai nėra tai, kas atrodo, kad yra.
Yeah, it seems like we have a relationship, for example, where we may please each other,
Pavyzdžiui, mes galim turėti tokius santykius, kur patenkintume vienas kitą.
but that pleasure that we may give each other, because it's not connected with Krishna, it's really very insubstantial.
Bet tas malonumas, kurį suteikiam vienas kitam, jeigu ten nėra Krišnos, tai iš tikrųjų neturi vertės.
Yeah. I mean, it gives something, but it just doesn't give what we hope for or what we expect in the relationship because Krishna is not there.
Taip sakant, mes kažką tai suteikiam kitam, bet ne tai, ko iš tikrųjų norėtų tas žmogus, nes Krišnos ten nėra.
So I'll give you just one example, a type of illustration.
Pavyzdžiui, paliustruosim tokį pavyzdį.
You know, you probably, when you were a child, you probably heard of Sleeping Beauty.
Turbūt, kai buvot mažas, tai girdėjote apie miegančią gražuolę.
And what was his name? Prince Charming.
Ir tas gražusis princas.
And Sleeping Beauty, and I forget the details, fortunately, but
Laimei pamiršau detalės, bet
she ended up asleep, and she was sort of cursed.
ta gražuolė buvo kaip ir prakeikta ir todėl jinai užmigo.
To sleep. But then Prince Charming came and saved her.
Bet gražusis princas atėjo ir ją išgelbėjo.
And so she rides off on his horse with him.
Ir jie išjojo kartu su juo ant jo žirgo.
And the story ends, they all lived happily ever after.
Ir istorija pasibaigė ir taip jie laimingai gyveno po to.
The fact is, they didn't live happily ever after.
Faktas, po to laimingai jie negyveno.
You know, if nothing else, they both died, you know, some years later.
Net jeigu ir nieko nebūtų ten kažko negero nutikę, visiems jie tiesiog numirė po kurio laiko.
Yeah. But, you know, one devotee sort of expanded the story of Sleeping Beauty.
Ir vienas faktas, praplėsdamas šitą istoriją apie miegančią gražuolę.
Yeah, he said, yes, okay, Prince Charming, Sleeping Beauty. They're both, you know, he's very charming and she's very beautiful.
Na, ten, aišku, tas gražuolis princas buvo nepaprastai dailus ir taip pat gražuolė mieganti.
So, because of their physical attractions to each other's bodies,
Ir vien dėl to fizinio tokio potraukio vienas kito kūno.
they ended up with at least 15 children
Jiems turėjo, kaip minimum 15 vaikų susilaukti.
or more.
O gal ir daugiau.
Yeah. I know one man in South Africa, he's got 2 Indian men, he's got 2 wives.
Žinau vieną tokį indusą iš Pietų Afrikos Respublikos, jis turėjo 2 žmonas.
They all live together.
Ir visi kartu gyveno.
And 32 children.
Ir 30 vaikų.
Really. So, but anyway, back to Sleeping Beauty, poor old Prince Charming got all these children, and children are expensive to run.
Grįžtam prie miegančios gražuolės, tai tas gražusis princas turėjo ką veikti visus tos vaikus išlaikyti.
So Prince Charming had to get 2 jobs. And then he had to get a 3rd job. And Sleeping Beauty had to look after the children. And it was complete insanity in their house. I don't know if you've ever seen a family with 15 children. On one side, 2 children are killing each other. On another side, 2 other children are fighting over something. On another side, one child's frustrated out of his mind. It's tough. It's really tough. So Prince Charming would come home finished. And Sleeping Beauty would just unload all her problems on him. How he's got to discipline the children and, So in the end it was too much and they divorced. So much for the, they all lived happily ever after. And then after that, they both died. Sure. So what can you do? But that's those sorts of things are the realities. And usually the idea is that, oh yes, we will be happy together and all that. It's one of the most, maybe the most, but one of the most classic illusions. So the answer really is that people can have some sort of relationship without Krishna. But it'll be prone to being, problematic in many ways. And then ultimately it'll just be destroyed. Whereas if you have a relationship with Krishna, in the relationship, provided you really are Krishna conscious, then you'll be extremely happy, like even you were not wishing to be that happy, because you never thought it was a possibility. So you'll just be so, by our standards, unimaginably happy. And it will go on forever. That's really the difference. Not like one just, it doesn't exist at all. But it's just extremely limited and ultimately temporary.
Tie santykiai egzistuoja, bet jie yra labai riboti ir laikini.
How does that sound?
Kaip skamba?
I think we should become Krishna conscious. What do you think? It would make sense rather than trying, because we already tried the other approach.
Reikia bent jau pamėginti, nes mes jau bandėm kitus variantus.
Probably in this lifetime to some degree.
Gal ir šiam gyvenime iki tam tikro lygio.
But for many, many lifetimes we've been trying and trying and trying, but every time we've been failing.
Bet mes jau milijonus gyvenimo vis bandom ir mums nepavyksta.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's sort of, in principle, the basic idea. Anyone else? Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for a beautiful lecture. I wanted to ask a question about Prabhupada's Murti. And I was taught in Bhakti program that an altar should be arranged in certain order. My Gurudev's picture, one size, the smallest, then Prabhupada the bigger, Parampara bigger, and then deity is the biggest one. And I got a question that I didn't have no way to answer.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that in ISKCON, Prabhupada's Murti is always the biggest? In many temples, it is even bigger than Krishna's or other deities.
You mean on the altar? Or on the Vyasasan?
Yes, on the Vyasasan. And the argument was that ISKCON is making Prabhupada the bigger deity than the deities, and than Krishna. Yes, and I got frustrated because I didn't know how to say that.
Okay.
And even now I'm looking. For me, it seems to be that Prabhupada's Murti is bigger than others, and
bigger than not bigger.
Well, maybe not.
Oh,
much.
bigger than the Parampara. That's true.
Yes, and it gets me frustrated.
Okay. No, you. Oh yes, okay.
Paklausti, kodėl Prabhupados Murti yra dažnai ant Vyasasanos didesnė negu dievybė. Ir atrodo, kad gavau klausimą, kurį neturėjau atsakymo, kodėl taip yra, nes mes mokėmės, kad Parampara turi eiti didėjančią tvarką atvaizdai ant altoriaus.
Okay. Yes, well, the thing is, the altar is the altar and the Vyasasan is the Vyasasan. They're two completely different things. And, it's a fact that on the altar, the deities should be the main, physically, obviously, the biggest. They are on the highest level, as you can see. And, I think that they're bigger than Prabhupada. I don't. Maybe. But, generally, this, relatively speaking, is relatively quite a big deity of Prabhupada on an altar. Yeah, and I don't know, who decided on this particular deity. In relation to the Parampara, the thing is that, in other words, it's arguable that the deity of Prabhupada could be smaller.
Ir čia toks iš tikrųjų truputį ginčytina, kaip ir atrodo, kad Prabhupadas Murti galėtų būti truputį mažesnė dėl torijos.
But it just in relation to the parampara as such.
O jeigu kalbėsiu, reiškia, palyginimas su paramparos dydžio.
For us, Prabhupada is the most prominent.
Mums Prabhupada yra pats svarbiausias.
And therefore, it can be that on that basis, he may be bigger than the others.
Ir šiuo pagrindu jis, kaip ir galėtų būti kažkiek didesnis negu kiti paramparos.
But on many altars, they don't have deities of Prabhupada, they just have pictures.
Ir daugumoje altorių tai nėra Prabhupadas Murti, ant altoriaus yra tiesiog paveikslai.
And then I think you'll always find they're just the same size as the other pictures of Parampara.
Ir tada gali matyti, kad tas Prabhupadas atvaizdas yra tokio pat dydžio kaip ir kitų paramparos.
But in relation to the deities, the main thing is that here the deities are higher.
Bet kas liečia dievybės, Krišnas, tai svarbiausia, kad jis yra aukščiau.
And normally they'd be bigger too than a deity of Prabhupada, if there's a deity.
Ir paprastai jis yra didesnis už Prabhupados Murti, jeigu yra Murti ant altoriaus.
And on the Vyasasan, it's something else. It's just another thing. It's the Vyasasan.
O Vyasasan yra visai kas kita.
And because Prabhupada's position in our lives is just so more than extremely important, there's just special emphasis so we can see him as he is.
Ir kadangi Prabhupados reikšmė mūsų gyvenime tiesiog neišmatuojama, tai čia mes turim Prabhupadą, tokio koks dydžio, koks jis ir buvo.
And there are, like in Prabhupada's samadhis,
Yra Prabhupados samadhi.
In Vrindavan and Mayapur, the samadhi deities are bigger than life size.
Ir ten Prabhupados Murti yra didesnis negu jisai buvo gyvenime.
I don't know if you've been to Vrindavan and Mayapur. Oh, why not?
Dar nebuvo Vrindavane.
I am very waiting for it to happen, this miracle in my life.
Yes, sure.
Labai noriu.
But you'll see those deities are really big.
Pamatysi ten tikrai didelės dievybės.
Yeah, this is life-size deity.
Tai kaip didesnės negu. O šita yra tokia, koks Prabhupada.
So, in the disciplic succession, there is a practice of having Vyasasan for whoever it is, Acharya, and having a life-size deity on the Vyasasan. Now, in our disciplic succession, there's a practice that there's a Vyasasan for whoever a particular Acharya is. Like in Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's Samadhi in Mayapur, there's a deity of him on the Vyasasan, and it's life-size.
Ir Mayapurė Bhaktisiddhanta Maharajo Samadhi taip pat yra Vyasasana ir tokia mūtė, žodžiu, tokio dydžio, koks jis buvo gyvenime.
In one place, I forget exactly where it is, but they have a deity of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur on a Vyasasan, and it's also life-size. Is it?
In ISKCON temple?
I don't know where. Oh, Sarabi Kunj. Bhaktivinoda, is it? Okay. Haribol. Thank you. So one is altar, the other is Vyasasan. It's a different situation. I think it's very nice. I don't think Nitai Gauri Chandra, I don't think they mind.
Manau, kad tai Goročiandai nepatiktų.
I think they're happy.
Aš manau, jie laimingi,
The devotees glorified.
kada šlovinamas faktas.
Okay, I think we'll finish here.
Pabaigsim čia.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.